Imagine this. It's 10:47 p.m. You're the last one left in the office. A storm rattles the windows, the coffee is cold, and an email pings your screen. Attached is a confidential report that wasn't meant for you. You open it, and your stomach drops. Your company's most anticipated product, a health tracking wearable, has a serious flaw. It occasionally misreads critical health data, and in a handful of internal tests it failed to alert users to dangerous heart rhythms. The launch is in 48 hours. Marketing is hyping it as life-saving. The executive team is all in. And here you are, sitting in the glow of a monitor, holding a secret that could protect customers, tank the launch, wreck the stock price, and possibly put your own career on the chopping block. Do you speak up, stall the release, or keep quiet and hope the patch arrives next month? Tonight, we're walking straight into the fire. MBTI types. Navigating a moral dilemma. Before we dive into each type, a quick reminder. Your MBTI doesn't decide your character, that's on you. But it can highlight default strategies under stress. What you notice first, how you frame the problem, and the kind of courage you're most likely to use. So let's imagine all 16 types sitting in that chair, reading that email, hearing thunder outside, and deciding what to do when doing nothing feels easiest. If you're an INTJ, your eyes narrow and your brain starts building a timeline. You map outcomes like a chessboard: public harm, regulatory blowback, brand damage, legal exposure, the integrity of the product roadmap. You hate half measures, and wait for the patch sounds like wishful thinking. You'll search for leverage points, a risk review, an emergency meeting, a kill switch policy that must exist somewhere. You draft a crisp memo overnight: problem, incidence rate, liability scenarios, mitigation steps, and a revised release plan. You don't panic. You engineer inevitability. In the morning, you present a solution that makes the ethical choice the rational one too. Your moral courage is strategic: protect the customer, protect the company's future, and protect reality from spin. If you're an INTP, you obsess over the data. You open logs, rerun tests, pull up white papers, and filter the noise. Is this artifact or signal? You'd rather be unpopular than wrong, so you won't go nuclear without solid proof. But when the evidence stacks up, you're relentless. You'll propose a temporary gate that disables the risky feature while preserving everything else. You're not allergic to whistleblowing, you're allergic to sloppy logic. Your moral compass points toward truth-seeking. If the claim is false, don't cry wolf. If it's true, build a bulletproof argument, publish it internally, and let the facts do the heavy lifting. If you're an ENTJ, you call a war room. You don't wait for permission. You ping engineering, legal, compliance, and PR, and you assign owners. In your mind, leadership is service under pressure. You're not here to protect egos. You're here to protect lives and the enterprise. If someone tries to soft-pedal the risk, you escalate fast. You'd rather be accused of overreacting than underleading. Your moral courage is decisive. Shut it down, reframe the timeline, take a controlled hit now to avoid catastrophic damage later, and own the narrative publicly with clarity and accountability. If you're an ENTP, you spin up scenarios like a simulation lab. You crowdsource ideas, poke every assumption, and ask the dangerous questions out loud. What if we open source the diagnostic algorithm for community review? What if we ship with the feature disabled and make the transparency our marketing story? You thrive on reframing, turning a liability into a moment of integrity. Your moral move is audacious creativity. You'll challenge the binary of launch versus cancel, and find the third door that prioritizes safety while keeping momentum. And if leadership resists? You'll rally internal allies with a compelling narrative that makes the right path impossible to ignore. If you're an INFJ, you feel the weight of invisible people, future users who trust the brand. You can almost see the face of someone who will rely on that alert at 2 a.m. Your conscience won't let this slide. You'll document everything, ask for a private meeting with leadership, and communicate the human cost with precision and calm. When pushback hits, are you being dramatic? You stay steady. You remind the room what the company claims to stand for, and you appeal to the future story you're all writing together. Your moral courage is compassionate conviction, fierce and gentle at once. If you're an INFP, your gut says, "This is wrong, and that's that." You're less impressed by corporate risk math than by the simple, sacred value of a human life. You'll speak up, even if your voice shakes. If you're ignored, you'll consider going outside channels, whistleblower lines, regulators, journalists, because your loyalty isn't to a logo, it's to people who don't know they're in danger. Your moral courage is conscience first. You'll lose sleep, you'll wrestle with it, but you won't betray your values. And if you can, you'll advocate for the users in language that pierces spin and lands in the heart. If you're an ENFJ, you gather the room and look everyone in the eye. You're great at surfacing unspoken fear and aligning people around a shared ethical standard. You'll translate the technical risk into human impact and the human impact into a leadership opportunity. You might propose a public statement that models the behavior you want the industry to adopt. You're not naive, you're persuasive. Your moral courage is social leadership. Rally the tribe, protect the vulnerable, and raise the standard together. If you're an ENFP, you're blazing with energy. You'll champion a plan that's honest, humane, and creative. We pause the risky feature, invite independent reviewers, and make transparency our superpower. You trust that people respond to authenticity. If the company embraces the moment, it becomes a brand-defining pivot. If not, you'll become a one-person movement. Your moral courage is fueled by hope and values in action. You'll remind everyone that long-term success belongs to those who are brave and real. If you're an ISTJ, you open the policy manual and the compliance doc. You're not cold, you're careful. You'll gather documented procedures for recalls, risk thresholds, and release criteria, and you'll ask, does this meet our own standard? If it doesn't, you insist on following the rulebook, even if others want to bend the edges. You see the quiet heroism in doing things properly. Your moral courage is duty-bound. Uphold the process that exists to prevent exactly this kind of harm. If you're an ISFJ, you think about the users like neighbors. You picture a grandparent relying on that alert and you feel a protective instinct rise. You'll alert the right people, offer to help coordinate the remediation, and ensure support teams are prepared with honest, caring communication. You're not loud, but you're resolute. Your moral courage is service-oriented. Do what keeps people safe, and take care of the fallout with empathy. If you're an ESTJ, you enforce reality. You set deadlines for verification, you halt the launch if thresholds aren't met, and you communicate decisions clearly down the chain. You're not here for drama, you're here for standards. Anyone who tries to hope the problem away will answer to you. Your moral courage is executive backbone. Make the hard call, protect the brand's integrity, and make sure the fix is done right the first time. If you're an ESFJ, you think about trust. You'll coordinate cross-functional efforts, ensure the messaging to customers is transparent and reassuring, and watch over the team's morale. You believe people remember how you made them feel, especially in a crisis. Your moral courage is community stewardship. We protect people by telling the truth and by staying together while we repair the mistake. If you're an ISTP, you stroll to the lab, grab a scope, and replicate the bug. You like facts under your fingers. If the flaw is real, you design a tactical workaround or disable the risky sensor path. You recommend a minimal viable safe release and document exactly how to implement it. If leadership dithers, you cut to the chase. Here's what works, here's what doesn't. If you ship as is, you're gambling with lives. Your moral courage is pragmatic competence. Do the fix or stop the ship. If you're an ISFP, you listen to your conscience and your senses. Something about shipping a health feature that might fail feels like a violation of what the product should be, a tool that cares for people. You'll advocate for a delay with clear, heartfelt reasoning, and you'll help humanize the communication to users. If ignored, you'll quietly but firmly refuse to put your name on something that harms. Your moral courage is integrity in the moment. If it doesn't feel right, I won't be part of it. If you're an ESTP, your action first. You'll find the fastest path to truth and a decisive outcome. You might run a live test battery overnight, film the results, and put them in front of decision makers at sunrise. You cut through dithering with direct evidence. You'll also scout the external landscape, what competitors did when this happened to them, and turn that intelligence into simple choices. Your moral courage is tactical. Confront reality now, take the hit, and move on stronger. If you're an ESFP, you bring heart and clarity to chaos. You'll center the conversation on the people who'll feel the consequences, users and employees, and push for honest outreach. You're the one who says, we can keep our reputation if we keep our humanity. You'll help craft messages that are warm without being spin, and you'll champion the customer's lived experience in the room. Your moral courage is human truth. We do right by people, or we're not who we say we are. Notice something? Every type, when healthy, has a form of moral courage. It just expresses differently. Some lead with logic, some with duty, some with empathy, some with action. Under pressure, our blind spots show up too. The INTJ might underestimate the emotional pitch of the room and trigger resistance if they skip the human side. The INTP might overanalyze and lose the window to act. The ENTJ could bulldoze dissent and create backlash, while the ENTP might brainstorm so many clever options that decision fatigue sets in. INFJs can carry the weight alone too long. INFPs can burn bridges if they feel unheard. ENFJs might overfunction for the group, and ENFPs could chase ideal solutions while the clock runs down. ISTJs can become rigid, ISFJs can over-accommodate, ESTJs can get harsh, ESFJs can fear conflict. ISTPs can detach, ISFPs can withdraw, ESTPs can risk taking their way into trouble, and ESFPs can avoid the cold hard details. So how do you navigate a moral dilemma well, no matter your type? First, slow down just enough to name the stakes. Write them out: the harm risk, the legal exposure, the reputational hit, the human impact. Seeing the whole board keeps you from fixating on one piece. Second, gather evidence proportionate to the risk. This isn't about perfection, it's about enough truth to act responsibly. Third, widen the circle wisely. Bring in the right people: engineering, compliance, legal, and someone who can translate the problem into business terms leadership will grasp. Fourth, choose a path that you'd be proud to explain publicly. If your strategy depends on people never finding out, it's probably not the ethical one. Fifth, document, kindly, clearly, and with timestamps. You're not creating drama, you're building accountability. Let's zoom back into the room with our 16. The clock hits 12:03 a.m. lightning flashes. You draft your plan, shaped by your type's strengths. The INTJ crafts the roadmap. The INTP validates the data. The ENTJ deploys the team. The ENTP reframes the options. The INFJ anchors the values. The INFP keeps the conscience lit. The ENFJ builds alignment. The ENFP protects authenticity. The ISTJ ensures compliance. The ISFJ watches for human fallout. The ESTJ enforces standards. The ESFJ stewards trust. The ISTP gets the fix working. The ISFP keeps integrity intact. The ESTP drives rapid reality checks. The ESFP keeps the message human. Together, that's a complete decision-making organism. Alone, each of you is still enough to do the next right thing. What if leadership says no? Here's where the rubber meets the road. Ethics is easy when everyone agrees. It's when you're outnumbered that your type's shadow side gets tempted. To appease, to avoid, to bulldoze, to disappear. This is the moment to ground yourself. Ask, what outcome can I live with when the lights are back on and the headlines roll? If the company chooses poorly, escalate within policy, and if necessary, use protected channels. Don't self-immolate, be wise. But don't self-betray either. Integrity grows from 1,000 unglamorous decisions to be the same person in the dark that you are in the light. Here's a practical script you can adapt, regardless of type. I've reviewed internal data indicating a non-trivial risk of missed cardiac alerts. The incidence rate across tests appears to exceed our internal release threshold. Shipping as is exposes users to potential harm and the company to regulatory action. I recommend we disable the affected feature for launch, issue a transparent statement, and commit to a verified patch timeline. I'm prepared to help coordinate cross-functional efforts immediately. This hits logic, duty, empathy, and action. No theatrics, just clarity. And if you're watching this thinking, but my job could be at risk, that's real. Ethics isn't tidy. When you act with moral courage, sometimes you pay a cost. But consider the alternative cost, the one you carry in your chest for years. Most people can make peace with a career setback. It's harder to make peace with the memory of watching danger walk past you while you said nothing. The good news? Ethical action is contagious. One person who names reality can give others permission to do the same. Your choice can flip the social script from, "we can't," to, "we must." Let's ground this in one more vivid scene. It's launch day. Cameras are set. The CEO is in makeup. You've been up all night with the emergency team. The fix to fully solve the issue isn't ready, but the safe workaround is. In the pre-brief, you hear, "Maybe we don't highlight this. It could spook investors." Your heart pounds. This is the hinge. The ENTJ takes the mic. We'll control the message by owning it. We're shipping with a limited feature set today because we discovered an issue we're fixing. That's leadership. The ENFJ looks around the room and adds, "This is how we protect trust." The ISTJ nods, pointing to the policy. The ISTP confirms the workaround is robust. The INFJ quietly says, "People will feel safe if we're honest." And the CEO, reading the room, adjusts the script. The product launches, the feature is disabled, the statement is clear, and the story isn't, "Company hides flaw," it's, "Company chooses safety." You won't always get that outcome. But you can always be that person, the one whose presence increases the odds that the right thing happens. Maybe you're the analyst with the pristine spreadsheet, the marketer with the courageous copy, the engineer with the clean fix, the manager with the spine to pause the train, or the coordinator who makes the hard day survivable for the team. Ethics isn't only a decision, it's a culture built by countless small acts of clarity. So, what's your type's homework for moral dilemmas like this? If you're a strategist type, INTJs, INTPs, remember the people. Moral clarity moves faster when you speak human as well as logic. If you're a values type, INFJs, NFPs, pair your conviction with concrete steps and data. It makes your case unassailable. If you're a guardianship type, STJs, SFJs, let procedures guide you, but update them when reality teaches you something new. If you're an action experience type, STPs, SFPs, use your bias for action to generate evidence, but don't mistake speed for wisdom. Every type has gold. Every type has a gap. Know yours. Fortify your weak side before the crisis arrives. And build your ethics go bag now. That means cultivating allies across departments, learning your organization's escalation paths, keeping templates for risk memos, and practicing saying hard truths in calm, non-accusatory language. When the email hits at 10:47 p.m., you won't be inventing courage, you'll be deploying a plan you prepared in peace. If you take one thing from tonight, let it be this. The most powerful moral tool you have is not outrage, it's alignment. Alignment between what's true, what helps people, and what you do next. When those three line up, fear gets quieter. The storm can keep raging outside. You'll still close the laptop, stand up, and take the step your future self will thank you for. Now I want to hear from you. What's your MBTI type, and where do you tend to shine, or struggle, when the stakes are high? Would you be the strategist, the peacemaker, the fixer, the enforcer, the truth teller, or the humanizer? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you've lived through a real-world dilemma like this, tell us what you did and what you learned. And if you want more deep dives like this, practical, type-savvy, and grounded in real life, hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs a nudge toward courage. The world doesn't need perfect people. It needs people who do the next right thing when no one's watching.